Tai Lung did everything right, trained harder than anyone, sacrificed more than anyone, became exactly what his master told him to become. And when the moment finally came, they didn't even say no. They just...
What did you do? Nothing.
20 years in a prison cell. That's what he got for checking every box. We call him a villain, but his story teaches us something most people missed about wasted potential, and it might be the most important lesson in the entire film. To see it, we have to go back to where the damage began. Let's recall this. Tai Lung doesn't start as a villain. He starts as a baby, left at the doorstep of the Jade Palace. No note, no name, just a snow leopard cub waiting for someone to decide if he was worth keeping. Shifu took him in, not just as a student, but as something closer to a son. He raised him, trained him, and somewhere along the way told him the one thing that would ruin his life.
He believed in him. He told him he was destined for greatness.
Tai Lung spent his whole childhood trying to become something he'd been told he already was. He mastered everything they put in front of him, every form, every technique. Because when someone tells you the finish line is real, you run. You don't ask if the race was yours to begin with. And the cruel part, he was good at it. The best student the Jade Palace had ever seen. Proof that Shifu's life had meant something. Tai Lung wasn't just a warrior, he was a mirror that made his master feel like a master. But someone else was watching. Oogway, and he wasn't smiling. The film tells us Oogway saw darkness in his heart. We're supposed to accept that. Wise tortoise, evil snow leopard, end of story. But look closer. Shifu didn't want to see what Oogway saw, so he kept training him, kept promising him. Then the day came. Tai Lung stood in front of the scroll, the thing he'd been promised since he was a cub, and waited for his life to finally begin. Oogway refused, and Shifu, the man who made him, who promised him, said nothing. Watch that moment. That's not anger on Tai Lung's face. Not yet. That's a kid realizing his father isn't going to save him. That silence broke something that was never going to heal. What happens next isn't pretty. Tai Lung rages, attacks the valley, hurts people, and Shifu, the man who raised him, loved him, was supposed to stop him, but he couldn't. In the film, Master Tigress says it plainly.
And Shifu had to destroy what he had created. But how could he?
So Oogway did it instead. A prison built specifically for him. Chains, darkness, a cage designed to hold the weapon Shifu made. We're supposed to think he got what he deserved. Tai Lung did something unforgivable, true, but the thing that made him, the pressure, the promises, the identity he never got to choose, that started long before he threw the first punch. Nobody went to prison for that. The easy read on Tai Lung is that he couldn't handle rejection. Arrogant prodigy gets told no for the first time, throws a tantrum, becomes a monster. Simple. But that's the story we tell because it's comfortable. It makes him the problem. And if he's the problem, we don't have to look at anything else. But that's not the whole story. Tai Lung never believed in himself. He believed in Shifu's belief in him. Every punch, every form, every sleepless night of training, it was never about kung fu. It was about staying worthy in the eyes of the man who saved him. That's the trap of being chosen. You spend the rest of your life terrified they'll change their mind. The scroll wasn't a prize to Tai Lung. It was proof. Proof that the love was real. Proof that the promise meant something. Proof that he existed as more than just someone else's project. And when Oogway refused, Tai Lung didn't lose a title. He lost the only evidence he had that he mattered at all. Now, look at Shifu. We want to feel bad for him. The movie lets us. He's the sad old master, haunted by his greatest failure, unable to love again. But Shifu wasn't a victim here. He was the architect. Every time he told a child he was destined for greatness, that was a brick. Every time he pushed him to train until his bones cracked, Another brick. He built Tai Lung to prove something about himself, and when that proof started showing cracks, he didn't take responsibility. That's the betrayal Tai Lung couldn't survive. Not Oogway's refusal. Oogway didn't raise him. Oogway didn't promise him anything. But Shifu did. Shifu looked his son in the eye at the worst moment of his life and chose silence.
Who filled my head with dreams? Who drove me to train until my bones? Who denied me my destiny?
Tai Lung asks these questions in the film, and Shifu's answer,
It was never my decision to make.
20 years in prison. And that's the response he gets. A shrug, a deflection. It wasn't my call. No wonder he couldn't let go. Letting go would mean admitting he'd given 20 years to a lie. And sometimes holding on to the anger feels easier than grieving what you lost. We've all met Tai Lung. Maybe we've been him. The kid who got called gifted and spent the next 15 years trying not to disappoint anyone. The one who followed the script, grades, degree, job, the checkboxes that were supposed to add up to something. Not because you wanted it, because someone told you this is what worthy looked like, and you believed them. The grind wasn't your idea, but it became your identity, and somewhere along the way, you stopped being able to tell the difference between what you wanted and what you were told to want. Work hard and you'll be rewarded comes with conditions nobody reads out loud. The people making the promises aren't always the ones keeping them. And by the time you figure that out, you've already given the best years of your life to a finish line that keeps moving. Tai Lung gave everything, and everything wasn't enough. Not because he failed, because the scroll was never his. The only person who didn't know that was him. That's what wasted potential actually looks like. It's not about talent. It's not you could have been great. It's waking up one day and realizing the person you built has no foundation underneath. Just expectations stacked on top of each other waiting to collapse. Tai Lung didn't waste his potential. It was wasted for him, by the people who were supposed to protect it. And he spent 20 years in a cell blaming himself for their choices. The rage makes sense. It's not evil. It's grief with its teeth out. When you've given everything and you still lose, what's left? Just the anger, and that quiet voice underneath asking what any of it was for. And that's where it keeps you. The rage feels like the only thing you actually earned. But rage doesn't free you. It keeps you loyal to the thing that broke you. So when Tai Lung finally escapes, he's not coming for revenge. He's coming for the only thing that ever made him feel real. But what he finds when he gets it, that's the part that could change everything. For him, and maybe for you. Tai Lung gets the scroll. After 20 years, after the prison break, after fighting through the Furious Five like they were nothing, after confronting Shifu and nearly killing the man who raised him, he finally holds it in his hands. He unrolls it, and it's blank. Nothing. No secret technique, no ultimate power, just his own reflection staring back at him.
It's nothing!
He says it like the words don't make sense, because to him, they don't. Poe figured it out. The scroll is empty because there is no secret ingredient. The power was never in the scroll. It was in believing you were enough without it. But Tai Lung can't accept that. His entire life was built around the idea that something external would finally make him complete. The scroll was supposed to be the answer, the proof, the thing that turned all those years of pain into something worthwhile. And it's blank. For Poe, the empty scroll is freedom. He was never promised greatness. He never built his identity around earning something. So when he sees his reflection, he can accept it. That's me. That's enough. For Tai Lung, the empty scroll is the cruelest possible answer. It means the thing he destroyed his life chasing never existed. It means he was enough the whole time, and nobody told him. There's no comfort in that, only devastation. Watch his face in that moment. That's not a villain. That's a kid holding proof that his whole life was a lie. He can't let go because letting go means admitting there was never a prize. And if there was never a prize, then what was it all for? So he fights, not to win anymore, just because fighting is the only thing he has left. And he loses. And this is the part that's hard to sit with. Sometimes the waste isn't your fault. Sometimes you did everything right. Sometimes you were talented, disciplined, dedicated, and it still didn't matter because the rules were written before you showed up. But here's the harder thing. Knowing it wasn't your fault doesn't free you, not automatically. You can understand exactly how you got here and still be stuck, because understanding isn't the same as letting go. Tai Lung understood. In that final moment holding that scroll, he saw the truth. It was never going to save him. Shifu's approval was never going to complete him. The title was never going to make him real. He saw it, and he couldn't accept it. That's the tragedy. Not that he didn't know, that he knew and it wasn't enough. I know this one personally. Growing up, everyone told me I had it, the talent, the eye. You're gonna make it. So I waited for my life to start. But being gifted becomes the thing you're terrified to test. What if you try and they were wrong? So I did nothing. Not lazy, scared. As long as I never really tried, I never really failed. I was holding my own blank scroll, waiting for something to be written on it, not realizing I was the one who had to write it. Tai Lung never got there. He saw the blank scroll and it broke him. I almost let it break me too. It was always blank. The people who promised you a secret, they didn't have one. The finish line you've been running towards, it's not there. But that's not a tragedy, not unless you make it one. That means you get to write it yourself. No one else's expectations, no one else's definition of what you're supposed to be. Tai Lung couldn't see that. It looked like emptiness to him, like proof that nothing mattered. But it's not empty, it's open. The last time we see Tai Lung, he's not fighting, he's reaching, still trying to grab the thing that was never going to save him. You're still here. Maybe you've been staring at your own blank scroll for years, and you didn't break. That's not nothing. That's the whole thing. Wasted potential isn't what you didn't do. It's who you didn't become. Tai Lung never got to find out who that was. You still can. And maybe that's enough. Maybe it always was.